Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. Everybody had a great New Year. Looking forward to a wonderful 2024. My story is out of Michigan, where cops are learning how to give people tickets. Terrible story. So there's an increase in demand for drug recognition experts now that marijuana is legalized. Deputy Cody Carina is a drug recognition expert, or what they call a DRE, at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in Michigan. He's trained to detect impairment for marijuana and a number of other drugs. Been busier than ever since Michigan legalized recreational marijuana in 2018. Carina said, "It's called lack of convergence. So I'm seeing if their eyes can converge on a stimulus." What? Has several tests specifically for marijuana and has undergone special training to get certified as a DRE. Said filling out the DRE report takes much longer than a normal incident report. Also said, DRE school is the hardest training I've ever done. I mean, even I was 10 years in the military. It's still the hardest training I've ever done. I mean, the final exam, I was doing it for like 8 hours. You know, one guy, it took 13 hours, he added. Gentile is an attorney who prosecuted cases with the help of a DRE, has defended clients against DRE. Said Ohio will probably need more DREs since recreational marijuana is legal. Also added that once the availability of marijuana becomes as prevalent as we all expect it to be, we're going to need more DREs and police officers that are certainly better trained on how to detect and arrest impaired drivers on drugs. Teal said, as a prosecutor, DREs can be reliable since they usually have to be right. He likes them to back up their assessment with an actual blood test. He said being wrong could hurt their case. It's sharp. And Teal also added, then the results come back and the officer finds out I was right or I was wrong. If the officer was wrong, that's going to hurt in court because obviously valuable. How much credibility does an officer have for determining what classification of drug somebody's impaired on? They're wrong. Deputy Carina is the only DRE in this county. He said the testing is vital if there isn't a device that can detect impairment for marijuana. Also added that we take a 12-step systematic and standardized process, and we make those individual observations that might be subjective to somebody, we can actually make them objective. I don't know how. I don't know if you guys are showing that video, but you can see he's like moving a pen in front of somebody's eye and making them around.
Put your feet together, arms at your side.
So dumb.
And I'll
says
say,
if we're seeing something that's consistent with impairment, then nothing comes back in the blood. Is that because it's a drug that's not tested for? Or is it because maybe they had some kind of medical impairment going on, he said. Then we have to go back to our evaluation and see exactly what happened. He said it's best to test someone early on because impairment can wear off. Blood tests take months to get results. First of all, the fact that a blood test takes months to get results is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Run a lab, it doesn't take months to do a blood test.
He's trained to detect
it's just the reality. Anyway, more silliness happening in Michigan. DREs. I'm Todd Dankin with High at 9 News. What do you guys think of this ridiculousness?
I mean, Todd, when I'm watching that video, all I can think of is Men in Black. Like, here, look at this, and boom,
That's
all
right,
you forget.
that's right.
Forget everything.
Yeah. They're deprogramming us, the bastards.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's more reprogramming than deprogramming, but I really think it's funny because, like, how many prescriptions...
Wait, look how he tests his eyes. His
yeah. Look at that. Did you see that? Did you see that pupil?
Look at the chart.
Pupil chart?
Pupil chart.
Pupil chart.
If a cop ever pulled out that chart on me, man.
Oh, bro, that's I want one of those.
Look at that.
I want one of those.
Pupil chart.
I want one for my kids.
Chart.
That's someone that come home from parties in high school. Like, how dilated are your pupils?
I mean, in all fairness, I mean, what the cops should be doing with that information is giving that to parents. They should be having like little community events where like meet and greet with parents and giving the parents those cards, so then that way they could check to see.
Yeah, but what are they gonna do? Like, have on their paperwork? Is it a form? They have a face and they draw a circle.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine, bro? You're high. You just got back from the rave. You're sleeping in your bed, and your parent comes in and wakes you up, and is like, "Here, open up your eyes," and then holding the card up next to your face.
Where did the cannabis man touch you? Just draw it.
Oh my God!
Show us on the doll where the cannabis touched you.
I mean, I never really realized that drugs were so hard to recognize, especially with the the prevalence of them in all of our cities nowadays, with all these harm reduction clinics and everything.
I don't know. I know if somebody is wasted or not.
Exactly.
It's not my first
That's what I'm saying. And
so obvious.
And the worst part is that they teach drug recognition experts. This is the worst of it all. Okay, is that they teach you that if you smoke marijuana, that it turns your tongue green. What do you think about that, Mary? This is a true thing. This is a real thing. This is 100% factual information. 100% factual information.
I think that's absolutely fucking insane. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Don't you think that it stereotypes?
My tongue has never turned green.
Don't you think that it stereotypes people that like Jolly Ranchers and Charms blow pops?
And those, yes, every green candy ever. Also, green beer on.
Does green beer turn your tongue green?
St. Patty's Day.
Does green beer turn your tongue green?
I mean, it could if you have enough of it.
If you smoke weed with it, it could.
Potentially.
If you're eating the THCA.
Potentially, yeah. But only if you're smoking THCA flower.
Only if you're
eating. Just eat the flower, and then it turns green, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll only turn your teeth green, though.
It'll only turn your teeth green. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Man, oh man, oh man. You got any thoughts on this, Stone Slade?
No. The pupil chart. I checked out on the pupil chart, man. That was it'd been great coming home from a rave and mom's like looking at the pupil chart. She's like, "You've been smoking weed."
Exactly.
Okay.
No, you've been rolling. Oh man, they look the same. I don't know how to tell.
Oh man, I had a friend who got pulled over one time when he was on acid, and the cops were definitely looking at his pupils, and he was even calling the officer. He was like, "Hey, come over here, look at this guy, bro. He's on some good ones." Yeah, it was. He was frying balls on acid at the time. But we are going to keep this.
Did he get in trouble?
No, he did not get in trouble because it was in a very very ghetto neighborhood, and they had a lot other real crime to focus on as opposed to just people running around tripping on acid.
That's the key when you're tripping balls is go to a bad neighborhood.
Yeah, do it in a bad neighborhood. Yeah, exactly.
Terrible advice. Don't listen to these guys. Stay away from cops.
Mm-hmm.